Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is LT Primatron and we're continuing on with Godzilla month with today's overview of my NECA collection Godzilla line. And I'm just going to go over them real quick. This is the Godzilla 1995 NECA figure. And this is the Godzilla from Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. And, it's a really nice figure. The only complaint I have about it is that the right eye here seems to be oddly painted, as you could see. The pupil is really large. There's no white in it. But on the other side, well, it's more defined eye, but on this side, it's, well, you can kind of see the painting flaw there. So, anyways, other than that, I mean, the figure is really nice. I got this figure from from my best friend who bought it for me on my 40th birthday. Thank you again to Ricky. And it's very sturdy and hefty. This is actually not my first NECA figure. The first NECA figure, which I have still hanging on the wall in my room, it's actually the 1954 NECA figure. I'm so repetitive in NECA. It's a 1954 Godzilla. It's very nicely articulated. Just like this. It's unopened, still sealed in its plastic box. I'll just put a picture of it right here. Bam. Thank you, post editing. It's a very nice figure, and it's you might notice the picture there that there's a picture of a Japanese actor named Akira Takarada, one of my favorite childhood heroes. Managed to get an autograph from him at Comic Palooza, and it was a very, very gracious person. And he was nice enough to give me 2 autographs. Wow. And once in a lifetime chance to meet an actor, who's had a very long history with Godzilla. And I was definitely starstruck. And I don't get starstruck very much if I see a celebrity. But anyways, this is the Space Godzilla, not Space Godzilla, but the Godzilla from Space Godzilla. And it's a very nice articulation. The paint is kind of a dark greenish color, as you could tell. The tail is kind of stiff. Some articulation here, ball joint here. 3 rows of spines and dorsal on the dorsal fins. And he's one of the classic Godzilla designs, although his head is slightly small. But yeah, overall, very nice figure. I have about 1, 2, 3, 4 other Godzilla figures. I don't have any of the special colored ones. So, anyways, as far as the sculpt, the head sculpt, as I pointed earlier, the paint is a little uneven on the eyes, so you should just focus on that side. The mouth does open, and there's some detailing. You can see the tongue there. Very nice job by NECA with the mouth sculpt. I can't get that piece of dust. Anyways, but yeah, you can kind of see the tongue, and very nice detailing. The feet, 4 toes, paint's a little scuffed or not painted all the way. I didn't really mess with the figure all that much, but he's mainly for display on my Godzilla shelf. And what more can I say? The articulation, it can move up and down. It's a ball joint, and this arm here is a little stiff. It only rotates just a little bit, but this side here, can move a little bit more. But this one seems to be just straight, locked in its position. Don't know why. It's not curved like on this right arm here. This arm here won't bend for some reason. But, you know, overall, it's a decent figure. So I'll just move on next to my next NECA figure. Next NECA figure I ever got was Shin Godzilla. Yes, sirree. It's a very, very nice sculpt. It's I think this is very long. The longest figure I have. You know, I was a little worried that the gap on the tail here would be overly extended. A lot of complaints on the tail here. The tail isn't as detailed as some of the other Shin Godzilla representations. You know, there's supposed to be like a mouth and eyes. I don't know if you can, yeah, focus here. But anyways, overall, man, it's one of my favorite NECA figures I ever owned. Very high detailed. There was a Bandai figure on Amazon. It's not as highly detailed. It's a basic vinyl figure that Bandai carried out. It was either that or this NECA figure, and I wanted something that's a little bit closer as far as the film representation. It's very grotesque design, as you can see here. I mean, this is definitely a very horrific depiction of Godzilla, and he's very gnarly, scarred up. His skin looks like radiation burns, just like the original Godzilla. A very modern, updated interpretation. His mouth does open. It's a very nice job. There's another version of Shin Godzilla that came out, and he's painted purple, and you can stick the beam, laser beam, purple atomic breath into that Shin Godzilla mouth. I'll have a picture right there to show you what it looks like. And it's a purple version of this piece, and it has an accessory to shoot, you know, its atomic breath. As far as articulation, I don't really mess with the movement very much, but it swivels. The head, I think I don't mess around with it too much, so it's pretty tight. So the arms are small. The only articulations here. The arm joint, very small arms. I mean, you can't really do much anyways. The movie Shin Godzilla depiction, this crest here, the sternum, is a lot pointier than this one, than what's represented here. But, you know, it does get the point across that the sternum is pointy on this figure. Feet, very puffy. The tail is very long. I think this is the longest tail out of all the other figures, and it's pointed upwards, I guess, to be more shelf friendly for displays. And NECA did address some complaints from collectors that some of the other figures would have a gap in the middle, and I'll show you later on in a different video what I mean by the gap on the back. But overall, I'm very pleased with this figure. There's an SH Monster Arts out there, and I didn't want to spend the money on it. I would rather go with something slightly more affordable, and that's kind of an understatement. The Shin Godzilla for SH Monster Arts has a pretty high price tag, about at least $100, and this guy here that I spent on, when it came out, was $25-$30, you know. And I have Amazon Prime, so I didn't really pay much for shipping. So changing the game, Amazon, changing the game. See, now what's different here, what's really interesting is this version of Godzilla has one, two, three, four, five, no, one, two, three, four, five rolls of dorsal fins. And usually Godzilla only has three. I'll show you on the 95 Godzilla. I mean, the major dorsal fins, you know, 1, 2, 3. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They want to give it that glowing effect on the fins. And usually previous Godzillas, they would have a more of a dark to lighter color on the painting of the skin dorsals. And you know, Shin Godzilla, he's all charred up on the dorsal fins here, red and glowy, radioactive. Shin Godzilla, very, very nice figure. Do one little rotation around. Very long tail, as you notice. Beady eyes. Close up on the face one more time. Very horrific looking. How far does he open? Nice big open jaw, like a snake. The teeth sculpt is very nice. Good painted. Good painting. Beady eyes. Hats off to the artist trying to paint that detail. The other side, it's just as good. So, next figure. Bam! This is probably my favorite figure out of the lines thus far. This is the 1962 Godzilla, and this sculpt, hats off to the sculptor on this. Comes with the accessory of atomic breath, and I love the way the eyes are painted too. It just sticks out. Very deep yellow and black pupils. Highly detailed hide. He's very heavy too. Extremely hefty. Feels solid. Tail does go into full articulation. So I just stick it up here. But this is my favorite out of the NECA figures so far. Articulation, up and down. The fingers do hinge a little bit, like so. Let me take out the accessory here for a bit. The mouth opens and closes, highly detailed mouth. It looks like a Muppet or a radioactive Kermit the Frog. It can close like so. I really like his side profile too. He looks very reptilian, like a salamander. Front view changes the character a bit. Three toes on the feet instead of four. Again, very hefty and solid. I mean, it's currently on sale now. I bought this from Bedrock City Comics, and if you go on their website, they might have it available for $25. It's also on sale in Target too. If you hunt in your local Targets, the figure should be around that $25 price point. But man, you know, the articulation here, you know, is very nice. I mean, well, for some reason this here doesn't move very much. This side moves, it's a little bit looser. This side's very tight, so I'm not gonna mess with it too much. Again, the dorsal fins, well, that's about 3 rolls mainly. You might notice here, it's very prominent. The middle dorsals are very prominent. They did a very nice job with limiting the gap between the major dorsal fins. If you're a Godzilla fan, and again, man, NECA stepped up their game as far as sculpting this figure, fully articulating figure. I did have a 2001 GMK Godzilla from SH Monster Arts, and the arm fell off. No, and the ball joint snapped. So I had to return it to Amazon. It was an $80 figure. It broke my heart. But this figure, it's so solid, you know? Doesn't make as much noise as the SH Monster Arts either. And, you know, and I'm not going to try to say that SH Monster Arts is inferior or NECA is better. I mean, everyone has a favorite line. And SH Monster Arts is very, very good. And, you know, as far as sculpting the figures, experience-wise, SH Monster Arts, you know, has the pedigree to sculpt the monsters in such high detail. But NECA is catching up. And speaking of which, the next figure and the final figure of the showcase happens to be the Godzilla 2019 King of the Monsters version. I don't have the 2014. I was going to get the 2014, but I held off on it. And I've heard a lot of complaints that the eyes of the 2014 Godzilla is a bit uneven, especially if you look at it head-wise. Yeah, I don't know. You look at the profile, the eyes are okay. It's not even on this figure. This one is fine on this side a little bit, but nah, what are you going to do? So yeah, this is the 2019 King of the Monsters Godzilla. This is the newest Godzilla to come out. I believe you can buy it at GameStop as well as Target. Don't quote me on that, but I think you could find it at Target. This figure, you know, besides the eyes, I really like it. It's highly detailed. I mean, look at this. Looks like a crocodile tail. It's a very long and pointy tail. I'll do a comparison of all the monsters soon. The dorsal fins are very pronounced in this. Again, they did a really good job of limiting the gap on the major fins here. The mouth, it's okay. It's not bad. You can kind of see the tongue. The teeth are painted all right. Let me see here. Let me get it to focus. Focus. Yeah, the teeth are okay. I don't blame the painter for... It's a challenging part to paint without the paint going over too much and over the mouth, make it look like he's wearing lipstick. But he did all right. I won't let it detract it too much from the figure. I love some of the detailings on the back side here. It's very charred, and the dorsal fins are very pronounced. This is actually the dorsal fins here were actually the original 2014 Godzilla had more of a, you know, kind of a jagged looking dorsal fins that were just smaller. This one, the director wanted to take the dorsal fins from the 1954 Godzilla and pasted on the back here, give it a more pronounced look for the back. The tail, you know, hats off. Nice detailing on the tail. I bought this from GameStop. The feet goes back to the 4 toes. Let's see here. How can I can pose the tail sideways here. But, you know, not much you can do. But let me, you know, the arms are different. They're kind of webbed. Very dinosaurian. So let me move this out of the way. So that's the 2019 Godzilla. Check it out in the theaters. Hopefully it'll have more action lengthwise. And here is the Shin Godzilla, starting from the toes. And you could tell, I think they're about the same size, kinda. But no, I think the Shin Godzilla has the longest length tail. And then here's the NECA 1962 Godzilla. Oh, they're all NECA, so sorry for the confusion. And then the Space Godzilla 1992. Tail's a little slightly loose. They're all about the same height as well. Not bad. You can see the difference in the dorsal fins. For anyone who's still not familiar with the franchise. And the tails, of course. This tail is... So there you have it. That's my overview of the Godzilla NECA figures. I hope you find this interesting. I don't have any of the other figures. I know that there are specially colored ones, and I don't have the GMK Godzilla. Missed out on that one. I mean, it's still available, but it's still pricey. But I made up for it, and you'll see later on what I mean by that. But again, thank you for joining me, and this is LG Primatron. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll continue on with Godzilla Myth. Thank you.